I'm so happy to have you all again. Please leave in the comments your names and leave in the comments if there's something that you would like to learn this time. We have an amazing person here, and I'm going to introduce her because her introduction is amazing, okay? And okay, so this is her name is Michelle Schaefer. Let me know if I said that right. Okay, we just lost Michelle. She's gonna come back soon, I hope. But anyways, I'll start introducing Michelle. Okay, so she's an amazing person. She's an amazing woman, and she's super hardworking. And you won't believe all the things she's done in her life. Okay, in her short life, she's done so many things. So she was born in the Philippines. Okay, so she's an immigrant like I am, which is so cool. Here she is back. Let me get her in.
Yeah, you just froze and like everything went dark.
No, we're good. Don't worry, my friend. So I was just saying, this is Michelle Schaefer. Okay, that's that. Did I pronounce that right, Michelle?
Yep, that's right.
Beautiful. So I was just saying how cool you are. So this is a long list, guys. So it's stand by. Okay. So she was born in the Philippines. So she's an immigrant, just like I am. Okay. And I mean, I'll continue with the list. So Michelle has achieved huge success in the corporate world, and she's got many degrees in physics, chemical engineering, and most recently, in the latest years, she's been studying cell and molecular biology and genetics. Okay, she's had major executive positions. Okay, in some big brand companies that I'm sure you're gonna recognize, like Intuit, right? QuickBooks, TurboTax, all this crazy stuff. She's also worked at Semi-Tool, Three Pyramids, Construction, and others. And now, most recently, she said, "You know what? I'm gonna go all in, and I know I can do it." And she's gonna tell us more about her story. But now she's a business owner. She owns her own business called Shell Construction, like Michelle, right? I guess.
Yep, yep,
She's
absolutely
also
right.
Yes. So she is also a mother of three kids. For everyone that's saying, "Oh, I have three kids, I can't make it," here's Michelle. Okay, she did it. She's on it, right? But she did it, and she's a huge entrepreneur. And now I have the pleasure and the honor of having her in my show. Thank you, Michelle. So successful. This lady is amazing. I can't believe I have someone like has done so many things in her life. It's crazy. Thank you, Michelle. Welcome, and thank you for being here with us. Woo!
Well, thank you for having me, Jose. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to be here and to talk to
Yeah.
your fans.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and we're helping people here, Michelle. I mean, they will hear about your story, and they will get inspired, and they're gonna learn a lot. So, how are you doing today? How are you doing?
Oh, doing good. It's a beautiful day up here in Montana. We're finally getting some sunshine and the tourists are starting to roll in. So, yeah, it's a great day.
It's great. I want to go to Montana. I have a partner there in Montana. He owns a glamping business. The scene
Oh,
is beautiful. I
I
I
think
can't
I
wait
know who you're talking about.
when I go there, visit him or visit you.
Mhm.
It we'll hang out. It's gonna be great. I really want to go to Montana. Like the mountains are beautiful. And I'm sure in the summer it's even better, right?
Oh, the summer's the best. The
Beautiful.
summer
No, I
is
want to be there. Yeah, like don't come here right now. Go come later. Visit me later because right now it's insane. The heat is killing everyone. So don't come right now.
right.
Okay, come and visit me, but not right now. So tell me, my friend, like you have a great story. Okay, like Michelle is from the Philippines. Okay, and she's got a great story. So I want Michelle to share the story with us. Tell us about your amazing story, Michelle, until most recently, please.
Well, yeah, I was born in the Philippines and my family traveled all over the world. So I've lived in England. I've visited many countries and then finally landed in the United States. So I mostly grew up in New Mexico. I started college in New Mexico, spent some time in Southern California where I had my kids. Um, there were some challenges along the way. We all
Sure.
have those things that we have to face. So, after my first child was born, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So everybody's
Wow.
like, "Ooh, scary cancer," and I never looked at it that way. I was like, "Well, if you got to pick one, you might as well pick this," because it was looking back, it was harder to deal with than what I gave it credit for at the time. but it's also not something that you let control you or take over your life. So it was for me, just like a blip in my journey, right? It was just like, oh, I got to deal with this today and move on.
Wow.
So I don't look at it as being a survivor or any of those kinds of things. I was like, okay, this prepared me for something later. I had my two younger kids, and then eventually we moved up to Montana almost 20 years ago. So I've
Wow.
been in the area here for about 20 years. My kids grew up here, and they are by far my biggest supporters. And so we all run into people that say, you're starting this business. Why are you starting so big? Like the normal way to do it is, you start small and you do this and you do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why would I start small? That's like saying, here, would you like $100 in your pocket or $1 million in your pocket? Are
Yeah.
you going to say like, oh, I'm too scared of the million? Let me just have the $100. No, you're not going to do that, right?
Of course.
So,
Right.
so you run into a lot of people who just do not understand big vision and that it's okay to start that way. Not
Yeah.
everybody gets to, and you don't have to do it. But if the
Yeah.
opportunity's there, why not? Right?
Of course. Well, that's
So,
how I see it too. And and
mhm.
and I had Emmanuel, I believe it was yesterday.
Oh
Another.
yeah,
You watch that one?
yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. So, we were talking about this book of Robert Kiyosaki called Cash Flow Quadrant. And Robert
Oh
Kiyosaki,
yeah.
you've read it?
Of course.
I mean,
Like that's like one of the things you do as a business owner, right? You have
right.
to learn from others. You have to make sure that you're well read.
Yeah.
You set your goals, right? 50
Yes.
books a year, 60 books a year, whatever you can
Mhm.
manage. But and
Yeah.
you lean on your fellow entrepreneurs to say, okay, what have you read lately that's brought you value? So,
Yeah. So I'm bringing this because one of the things that book explains is what really business means and what it is. And a business, the B, right, in the quadrant, is
mhm,
systems and people. So if you think as I'm gonna start small, if you have to, you do it, right? But if you could start with the people and the systems, that is what really a business is. So if you are just like self-employed, I'm sorry, if you're watching this and you're there in that position, but self-employed is not business, as what Robert Kiyosaki, explains in the book. The definition of Robert Kiyosaki's book of what a
mhm,
business is not you doing everything. What he says
right.
is that you are in the S quadrant, which is self-employed and solo, right? Like just doing everything yourself. That's not a business. But anyways, let's just keep going. Continue with the story, my friend.
Oh, now I got to remember where I'm at. So, some
Answer and yeah. Sorry.
yeah, so that was when I was younger, and it's one of those things. Now you just take a pill every day and you deal with it, but it
That's
does
right.
prepare you. It
Hmm.
For me, what it did was it helped me understand what fear is and how to move past it, right?
Hmm.
Well, a lot of people come from a place of fear, and so they don't realize their dreams or they don't move on
Yeah.
because they haven't had the opportunity to overcome something that teaches them what fear is and what fear is not.
Real
So,
fear, right?
yeah, a lot of people move in fear.
Hmm.
I am more of a like I move out of a passion for bigger and better challenges. So
Beautiful.
I have to watch that I don't go overboard on the risk side of things, right? That I make sure to have calculated responses and that I'm very measured in how I approach my business. And because sometimes things come up and you're like, oh, that sounds great, but you do have to take that step back and make sure, like, all right,
Yeah.
what's the risk here, right?
Yeah. Out of the
So,
box, right?
mm-hmm. So moving up here, I ended up having my kids. Their dad ended up leaving, and that's fine. That was what I wanted. So he's still a very good man and does very good, but he wasn't around to be able to help raise them. So I had them on my own a lot when they were
Wow.
teenagers. And
No excuses, my friend.
right,
Good
right.
job.
So during this time, um, you're mired or you're caught up in your current situation and you're like, I've got to make the dollars right now. I've got to work this job to pay for the kids and make sure that I can raise them. And at the time, you don't recognize the gifts you are given.
Hmm.
And so, what I found was that when my job was Semi Tool, I helped them become compliant with their Sarbanes Oxley, which
Awesome.
was, yeah, it was a big government compliance program that came down for publicly traded companies that instituted a system of internal controls so that your stockholders knew that they weren't being defrauded because they had like HealthSouth and Enron, right? That were big blowups and they affected a lot of people.
Hmm.
So at the time, I'm thinking, I am not making hardly any money here. But my job in that company was to document the company from head to toe.
Hmm.
Every business process in that company, I interviewed somebody for. I got to document the entire business, vertically integrated. They had locations worldwide. So I dealt with people all over the world that I got to interview and understand how they did their job. It was a manufacturing company, so they work in semiconductors and provide the tools that chip manufacturers use to make their products. So very high tech type of company, so manufacturing centered. So looking back after I left that position, after it had ran its course, I was there for about 8 years. I discovered I got a very good education and they paid me for it. Right? I
Yeah,
didn't see
I
like
I know.
extremely well, but I was like, who gets that opportunity? Right? I was like, I
Yeah,
must be very blessed that I got the opportunity to work with the board of directors. I worked with
of
the
course.
partners from major accounting firms. I
Yeah,
worked with, the receiving clerk, the shipping clerk, and the engineers. So that
amazing.
um, that experience has driven a lot of how I have organized my company
Of
and how
course.
I want to see it function, especially with the vertical integration. So um, you understand the value of systems. A lot of
Yeah.
people in construction don't, at least the people that I have ran to in my area, they're all small operations and they do not see the value of the systems.
They don't. Yeah.
And what I've seen is a lot of very good craftsmen that do not understand business. And
Uh-huh.
so my approach was a little bit different. I'm like, I'm going to bring in the business aspect. I understand how the construction should work, but I'm not going to be the guy going out there and hammering the nails. I'm going to
Yeah.
hire the best craftsmen that I know and bring them on board to handle, the execution part and then run the business like a business. That means you
Okay.
have your systems in place. It
Yeah.
means you have ERP system, enterprise resource planning. So there's probably a couple of builders that we know through 10x that
Yeah.
understand ERP systems and that kind of thing. So that's where my focus was like, I'm not going to start with a couple of people and try to scramble for jobs. I'm going to set up a great foundation. I'm going to have the accounting people I need. I'm going to have the resource and the marketing and
Hmm.
uh, track my cost.
Yeah.
Like basic, simple stuff, right, guys?
Right.
Uh,
Well, I mean, so our audience, Michelle, is great. Everything you're saying. Just to let you know, our audience are brand new business owners or people that want to start a business, and it's great that you guys are listening to Michelle because what she's giving you here is the trick for business. Like that's the trick. Okay, it's just organization and people. Like that's what. And you should read Cash Flow Quadrant. That book will explain more about that. But keep going, my friend. Oh, I love this conversation. It's amazing.
so if I'm talking to a brand new business person who's trying to decide, like, what are the most important things for my business?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the culture of your business is number one. The health statistic of your business, like how healthy are is the nature of my business, which means do my employees believe in the same mission I believe in? If I appropriately communicated to them what our goals and objectives are, have I stirred them up? Have I given them the passion and the fire to want to create the same things I've created? You know, Another thing that I'm a huge believer in is you treat your employees well. You
Yeah.
know,
100%.
am I running a company I would want to go work for?
Hmm.
Right? A lot
Yeah.
of business owners don't look at that. They're like, I got to stay lean and mean and my
Yeah.
employee is a commodity for me, but would they ever want to go work for the company like that? Probably not.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, make sure you provide your employees an environment that if you were in their shoes, you would want to come work for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Make sure and to have your exit strategy when you start, which means, what things do I need to set up now that are going to bring value to me later? And that's your systems and your processes and your procedures. I am a very out of the box thinker. I hate being put in a box. I hate being held to a system. So it's very anti my personality, but I know to surround myself with somebody who is good at executing that kind of stuff, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
But
know
but
it's
you're
necessary,
yeah, but you're the business owner, Michelle. So you have to be like that. But
right?
you're yeah, you're the I mean, you're the person that creates rules. So you need to be an outside thinker because you need to create the
Right.
rules for the executive team to apply the rules to, the lower echelon, right? The lower
Right.
echelon employees.
Right.
So so it's a ladder, and which
Mhm.
leads me to my next question: is
Okay.
what made you make that switch from corporate America to starting your own business?
Um, well, two things. One, I think it was a seed I've always had in me. I always knew I needed to work for myself, and that
Me
was just
too.
my
That's
personality,
funny.
right? It's
Yeah.
something that just burns inside of you from day one. You know all your life, and so the first thing is recognizing that. The second thing, the thing that actually got me off my hiney and to start doing it was I went to a growth con of
When
all
which year? Which year?
2 years ago. It
Two
was the
years
one
ago.
2 years ago,
Hold on,
and
the Las Vegas one?
yeah, it was in Las Vegas.
No way, I was in that one too. And I live in Las Vegas, right? It was easy for me, but yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah,
John Travolta, Floyd Mayweather, who else?
Damon
Uh,
John.
Usher,
Yeah,
Usher.
yeah. Where- was there. Jesse Itzler was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so just listening to the different entrepreneurs and listening to their story about where they came from and the struggles that they had to overcome, I was like, I'm no different. You
Hmm.
have so many people be like, "Oh, that's a one in a million chance. Like, why would it ever happen to you?" And I'm like, "Why wouldn't it happen to me? Like,
Yeah,
there has to be that one, right? Why not me? Why not let me be that one, right?"
exactly.
And so I came back and I was like, I'm working for a construction company right now and I see so many holes. I see so many gaps and it has so much potential and he wasn't willing to listen. He was
Hmm.
chasing the dime instead of chasing the dollar, right?
Yeah,
And I said, I'll just do it myself. And why not? So,
beautiful.
um, yeah, so I got very lucky and I met a few people who saw me posting about being at that conference. There are people that I
Uh-huh.
would have never talked to before that reached out and said, "Hey, you're into this stuff. Let's sit down
Me
and chat. I
too.
want to know what you learned." And so I gave like four different talks about what I learned at GrowthCon that year around the community. People asking me, come speak to Rotary or come speak to our Chamber of Commerce or our biz group, and just tell us what you learned and tell us, what you've got out of it.
Yeah.
And so through all that, I met somebody who wanted to invest in my startup.
Ooh, wow. That's awesome.
So, so we have a lot of irons in the fire right now with that, and still a bunch of things moving around. But that's was my opportunity to start big, right?
Hmm.
And so it was getting in the room with the right people,
Hmm.
surrounding yourself with people who are like minded, and
Hmm.
being visible that you're doing it,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
not enough for me to just sit here and talk to you. We got to let everybody know we're talking, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
then they're gonna, somebody might find me and be like, "Oh, Jesse, you're into that stuff," or
Yeah,
Jose, or you know, whoever it is you're talking to,
right.
and they're gonna approach you, or they'll
Hmm.
be like, "Oh, Michelle. Well, you know what? I like what she does. So if she likes you, I like you. So let's
Right,
see what we
exactly.
can do for you, right?"
Hmm.
So, um, just the amount of connections I have gained.
Hmm.
by putting myself into those situations. And those aren't the only places that I go. I take every opportunity I can get to be
Hmm.
visible and be out meeting people, especially people who are like minded.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so in Nevada, it might be a little bit harder, but in Montana, we're a pretty close knit group. A huge state with a small population. So
Hmm.
that doesn't make it very hard for me to get to know who my politicians are, right?
Right.
So you want to know what's going on, you want to know what's affecting your industry,
Yeah.
you find out who's running for office, you find out where they stand. And
Hmm.
so I've been able to connect with some people that say, hey, you want to start this nonprofit foundation
Yeah.
for housing. Housing's a huge issue everywhere, right? So one
Right.
of the things that I'm doing right now is working with some people to start Attain Flathead,
Wow.
which is a nonprofit organization that we're going to be using to help um, not homeless people, but say the young professionals
Hmm.
that can't get afford to get housing. So that helps me, right? For my company, it's a good image for my company. I'm
Yeah.
building so they're recognizing my brand, but I'm also
Yeah.
helping young people in my community that are young professionals, and we need those
Of
people,
course.
right? Not
Yeah.
everybody is going to be in our boat. We're going to need those support people, and they're going to need places to live. So um, just meeting some of these people running for office and that are in my state government, they were like, okay, what laws do we have in place that are keeping you from being able to be successful? Let us know what we need to change. Write up some stuff for us. Like, give us some things to act on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to be cognizant of the bigger picture and who is out there that you can meet that you're not going to think of right offhand, right?
Right. Right. No, and take the chance, Michelle, and I don't know if you know this. But by the way, Michelle and
Yeah.
we connected because she is in the 10X community, which is Grant Cardone's community, which led to find her investor. And now we hopefully will have a great friendship, from now on. So it's just a chain of events. It's a domino effect thing. And what I was gonna say is that you gotta take a chance. Like in my last event, we did a 7 day challenge, and that was Dwayne Jeffries was there, which is
Yeah.
a 10X guy. Hey Dwayne, if you're watching this, man,
Hi,
dude.
Dwayne.
Yeah. So like I took the chance and I invited. Well, I tried to get Grant Cardone, and I almost did, but I had to do it from way back, from way before. I
Right.
was doing it too soon to like too close to the event, and they got something else. But I had a conversation with Grant Cardone, which first I would have never had a chance to do if I didn't just took the opportunity and do it right. And
Right.
now, yeah, now at least he kind of knows I exist. But not just that, I also took the chance and I communicated with Matt Smith. You know who Matt Smith is?
Oh yeah, Pueblo, wake up, Pueblo.
Exactly. So in my event, yes, and now we're we know each other, and I don't know if he recognizes me as a friend. I do, because he was at my event, and I never thought he was gonna show up. But it was because I asked him, and I follow up with him, right? The things we learned in Carter University and all of that,
Right.
which we apply into our businesses. But and every day I recognize now more how it's helping me in investing, finding good deals to invest.
Hmm.
All the things in sales that I've learned. So it's not doesn't just apply to business and relationships. And that's how I got Matt Smith. I follow up with him and I send him videos. Hey, this is what we're doing. You're gonna help a bunch of small businesses. Remember when you were a small businessman and all of these things. And he's like, heck yeah, I love your passion. I'm gonna be there, man. And I never thought he was gonna show up. And that was yeah, that was the second day. And I said, we have a great surprise today. But I had like something else just in case he didn't show up. So he did show up. That was amazing. That was one of the best, times for me in this business. And the fact that the guy showed up, and like the guy's a TV star from Discovery Channel. Whoever doesn't know who Matt Smith is he's the guy who helped Grant Cardone to. I'm not gonna spoil you, but they make a lot of money in this Discovery Channel show called Undercover Billionaire in the season 2. If you like Grant Cardone and you like business, you should watch that TV show. It's amazing. Season 1 and 2. But anyways, that's how I did it. I took the chance, which is what Michelle did with going to GrowthCon. Like I remember when I didn't even want to spend. I remember I think that Las Vegas event I paid like $400. And now you can't pay that on any of these events. You got to pay
Right.
thousands to go. But I thought like, oh my god, and my mom and my wife, they thought like, you're crazy. How much, how are you gonna spend $400 on this? Best investment, like best investment in my life, right, Michelle? So
Oh,
it's
you
amazing.
know,
So, go ahead, my friend.
I was gonna say, yeah, I have gone broke a few times investing in myself to get here, and it was the best thing I ever did
Yeah,
by
yeah,
far. It teaches you a couple of things. One, believe in yourself. Two, you're never gonna get that value out of anything else, right? It's value that you take with you no matter what. And three, it
yeah,
teaches you how to pull yourself out of those situations if you ever have to.
yes,
So
yes. Yeah,
all
you
stuff.
push yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you know how to do the next step, because that's the problem. People think like, and I've heard this comment, right? Like, they'll say, "Why are you spending $5,000, $15,000 in this program or this course or whatever, or this book? You're spending
Hmm.
so much money in books, Like, why don't you invest that in your business?" The problem is, if you do that and you don't know exactly where you're putting your money, if it's the right thing, the low hanging fruit, whatever you want to call it, you are just making a big mistake. So if you learn, right, you read these books, you do these courses, whatever money from now on is going to be well invested in the right places, and your business is going to grow. So
Right.
it's, I mean, it's business. It's a whole different deal from what school teaches us, and it's a whole different game. That's what you guys have to read and study, and so important. My friend, was it difficult for you to make that decision from corporate America, job security, great benefits, all of these things, and then switch to your own business and all of this, it's crazy.
I was kicking myself that I hadn't done it sooner. So for me, it wasn't a hard decision. It was a finally decision. And
Beautiful.
I was so fired up and so happy to do it. I was like,
Mm.
I don't care if
Me too.
what comes of it. Like, this is one thing I will never regret, no matter how it turns out.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't do it, I would have always left with that regret of like, what could have happened? Like, what could I've
Hmm.
pushed myself to do? And yeah, I would have been secure, but
Yeah.
I would rather,
Secure. Secure,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Like, I would have never felt fulfilled, right? I would have never been able to achieve more. You would have always had that little box you fit in, and that just wasn't
Hmm.
me. So for me, it was not a hard decision. It was more of a kicking myself for not doing it sooner.
Yeah, and I was the same, and I had everyone else telling me, "Hey, you're crazy. Like, why are you doing this?" And I had the same opportunities you did in a way, right? In my
Hmm.
case, it was with marketing and websites, and I was able to see, and that's what we do. We do marketing and websites. I was able
Right.
to see from inside these companies the processes, what not to do, and the importance of education and all these things. So when I did my business, I was like, I know what I'm gonna have to do, and I know, and I'll do it, right? But I was also studying sales with Grant Cardone and everything. So I mean, it went good at the beginning, but I was missing what we're talking about. I didn't have this process knowledge. I did have a lot of process knowledge about the web design, but not as a business as a whole. And I didn't know anything about hiring, none of that stuff. Like, of course, you're a master because you've been HR manager and all this amazing stuff. But yeah, she came in with all the hats already ready, and she just came in and blew her business up. I didn't do that, but I've been hustling and studying on the meantime a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm getting there. We're now 15 people, Michelle, and we keep growing, thanks God. And I started just me doing all the websites, selling everything, estimates, all of the stuff by myself. But anyway, but let's continue. So, but my friend, this is a question that it's tough because sometimes we just work, we still work a lot. But how do you maintain your work life balance? How do you do that?
Well, for me, it's easy. There's not a division, right?
There's no what?
There's not a division. It's just my life, right? I don't have work and I
I like
have
that.
other things. I do the personal stuff I need to do when I want to do it. If I want to go see my daughter in Tucson, I go see my daughter in Tucson. I don't
Yeah.
differentiate that as part of, and when I'm there, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm here, I'm not doing work. I'm like, what opportunities am I finding here while I'm here? And
Hmm.
I'm lucky that she's completely invested in what I'm doing, and she's taking
Beautiful.
jobs that are going to help her to take over one day. So she's,
Love it.
you know, we're strategically having her do things
Yeah,
to gain those hats. And so
of
that when
course.
we're in a position to expand down to Arizona, she'll be able to step in and she'll have the management experience and she'll have which areas that she's good at and she wants to focus on. But I
Hmm.
just, yeah, I don't think of it as a division of things. I just think this is my
I
life,
love it.
and it's what makes me happy.
Yeah,
Why do I need downtime or a break from doing something that energizes me? That doesn't make sense.
yeah.
So,
I think the same way. You're one of the few people that because sometimes if you are that way and you hear all these people, that you feel like you're the crazy one. But I am with you. And when people say that to me, right, like, hey, you're working so hard and blah 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 blah. I'm like, you know what, I like it, and this is what this is my passion. Like, it's not
mhm.
doesn't feel like work to me. And one thing, and again, this book, referring to this book, amazing book by the way, Cash Flow Quadrant. You guys buy it right now in Amazon or whatever. Robert Kiyosaki says, if you don't want to have a business and you don't like business, don't do it because it's hard. It's arguably, I haven't had kids, Michelle, yet, and you have three, so you tell me what you think. But I think that arguably or legitimately having a business is the hardest thing in life. What do you think about that?
I, I always refer to my business as another one of my kids.
Oh my God, you see, so
I'm
it's
just, I'm
comparable.
yeah, I'm just
It's
raising it up like
comparable. It's your baby, right?
like
Yeah.
here's your little baby sister.
Right, right. Hey, this is, Shell
Yeah,
Construction, your baby sister. Did you say hi to her?
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. No, yeah, I think and
Oh,
I mean, we're a team now. We're 15 people, and we're all
mhm.
family.
Oh
and
yeah.
and my people, they're friends too, they're my people, like I care about them, they care about me, they stay with me. We don't sleep some days, like 2 days in a row, and they stay with me, and we play hard together, and we struggle together, and we do everything together, and we celebrate together. Like today, one of our salespeople, she's a new girl from the Philippines, by the way. Her name is Vanessa. If you're watching this, hey, congratulations. She just closed her first website deal today.
Oh,
Yes.
congratulations, Vanessa.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And it's great because we have this WhatsApp group, and we're all like cheering her up and like, hey, you did it, Vanessa. And she works hard. She's been
Hmm.
learning for 3 months, and we're just, we're cool people here, and we support each other, and we role play and all these things, and we have a great culture, like Michelle was saying. Thanks God. And it's not easy, because one rotten apple rottens the rest, and all of these things, they're all true, by the way.
Yeah.
It's difficult to manage a company, so that's why I say it's arguably one of the hardest things. So you said about your daughter already, but how does the rest of your family support your business? Are your other kids involved too, or just one?
They're involved, so they work for other companies that support my company. So, like my oldest son works in a shop learning how to do prefab, and so he builds walls that then instead of having to frame on site, they build them in the shop and bring out. So he's learning what I need him to learn. So when I
Nice.
launch my support businesses, he's already ready to go to run that business for me. And then my middle son, he is a sod farmer. And so we're looking at buying him his own sod business. So then he would also be a support function for
Got it.
construction. Um, so I definitely like the ideal of being vertically integrated, whether those functions are under my hat, under a bigger corporation that we bring them in, but
Yeah.
to look bigger than beyond just like the one function I'm doing right now. Um, the other big thing that I'm into that's not related to my family is I'm huge on innovation. So
Mm.
I follow and pay attention to a lot of different industries that maybe aren't directly related to construction right now,
Oh
but
my
have
God, I love it.
technologies that will impact it. So I follow a 3D printing company out of Austin, Texas that's starting to 3D print homes. I'm following the hemp industry for hemp building products because, if our timber resources get low, like what else can we do? What can we do to mitigate cost in
Yeah.
in that area? And then what other things are out there? What things did we do 100, 200 years ago that we're not doing anymore that might make sense to do again now, but in a better
Mm,
way?
wow.
So,
Michelle, you and I, we have to talk more, and you got to come here, and I'll go to Montana or something, and we'll help each other because I love how you think, and
mhm,
I'm grateful, Michelle. I'm sorry I interrupt you,
that's
but
okay.
I'm grateful for being part of the marketing world and the website design world because I have the pleasure to do business with people like you and in other many industries that what I do is I learn from each industry because sometimes there are things in different industries like kind of what you described, but it
Mm,
could be like this hair salon that they have these memberships or whatever, and I'm like, how the heck can I apply that to my business?
right.
Or or they have a certain type of program, software, whatever it is, and I'm like, that's brilliant. How can I do it in my own business? So I've been able to also implement things like that, like you said, like software, like innovative stuff and
Mhm,
learn from all these other industries because I deal with different, and that's why I people usually they tell you like niche, just get a niche or something. I think that's great, but you shouldn't stay in the niche. You can start with a niche and everything. That's a great place to
it's
start.
a
But
first step, right?
yes, exactly. So that's how I see it, and I'm happy that I just never niched all the way in or whatever,
Mhm,
uh, uh, and that allowed me to see a lot of other businesses and learn from them and seeing different industries. And sometimes we just start a marketing campaign for a company and it's
mm.
so related to this other industry. And I kind of know, even though I have never done it. I mean, it's so cool, right? It's amazing. Michelle is like smiling. Oh,
Yeah, I'm like, tell me more.
no, this is our passion, right? Like I feel like Michelle is here with me and we're chatting and we're having fun.
We-
And you guys too. If you're having fun with us here, like leave it in the comments and please say thank you, Michelle. Thank you to Michelle. We're not done yet, but say thank you, Michelle, for being here and spending time with us. Like and please let us know what are you learning right now. You've learned a lot. This is like guys. I've paid tens of thousands of dollars for courses, and this call is more valuable than more some of those courses. Just letting you know, okay? Just letting you know that the friend Jose got your back and getting you these big players with big thinking. That's awesome, my friend, and I'm happy that all your family is with you. And I love the support business idea because, and that's something that I just recently learned. I don't remember which book. I don't know if it was the Cash Flow Quadrant book or I don't know what other book I read that. Oh no, it was this one watching this as well. It's called Maui Business Millionaires. It's from David.
Ah,
Yeah, it's David Finkel. And by the way, they are my coaches. I have a business coach called Richwood, and they're
mhm,
amazing. The company's called Maui Mastermind. If you want a business coach, they're the best. They have many business coaches, and this is not about them, but just saying, if you want a business coach and you're struggling, best thing you can do.
mhm.
So the support businesses, amazing idea. That's awesome. And I was thinking about that. How can I? But I think I've already been doing it because I have logo design, graphic, video editing, and all these things that they relate so much to web design and marketing. So I kind of
Mhm.
already was doing that. Now I'm still thinking like, what else can I do to support the main business, right? But no, I
Right.
love that. That's amazing, Michelle. Like, you're one of the smartest business people I've met, and I'm not kidding. My friend, so now that you've shown us your brilliance, please tell us about your business. What is exactly that you guys do? How do you help others? And what are you doing right now?
So right now, I'm working with the investors to do some developments. So we're in the early stages of getting some developments done here and some resorts going as well. So we'll be doing the building functions for those people. Um, the number one focus of the company is just straight residential single family homes. But we're also branching and we're going to be starting our apartments here soon as well. We want to get into the multifamily sector, and that's always been the plan, was to
Wow.
start with the single family residential. So they'll have like the development section and then more of a custom home section, and then now the third little arm is the multifamily. So that's what
Wow.
we're heading into, and um, great group of people. The one thing that I'm going to say to new business owners is
Please do.
do not be afraid to leverage the relationships you've built over your lifetime. So I was big, my middle son, he was huge into wrestling.
Cool.
And so I was very involved with the wrestling club and on the board for those guys. And so during that time, I had the opportunity to meet and work with all the parents of, hundreds and hundreds of children that came through the program, but I met their parents. And so now I'm getting into construction and I look back and I'm like, hey, remember that kid you wrestled with? What is it? What did his dad do? Remember, his dad? He's like, oh, well, he was a framer. So I call up dad and say, hey, I've got this company and I'm looking for people to do this for me. He's like, I remember you. I remembered how you handled
Wow.
things back then, and I would love to work for you. So
Nice.
that's a lot of how I found staff when staffing is hard, was leveraging the things that I have done in the past and the people I knew, and not to be afraid to reach out and just make random phone calls. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, I'll call anybody. I don't care who they are.
Me too. Me too.
So do
Who's
not
got my
be,
money, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Where is it?
So um, yeah, that's big on my list. Is look at what you've done in the past. Look at who have you worked with. As a business owner, there was a gal I worked with in a lab at one point, and I was like, she was amazing at her job. There was this
Nice.
quality, this quality, this quality. You know what? She'd be a great fit here. Let me call her up and see what is she doing these
Ooh.
days. Is she happy where she's at? Like, what are her goals? Like, what does she want to do with her life? Like, is she able to reach them with the job she has now? Can I help her get there?
Mhm.
So I take people out to lunch or meet them for a cup of coffee and say, let's just chat about your future and what kind of company do you want to work for? So
I love
that
it.
has been very valuable for me. Just
Yeah.
people have seen how I executed myself in my prior jobs, and that right there gained me a lot of trust and a lot of leverage with gaining staff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited. I don't know if your viewers know, but the Flathead Valley, where I live up in northwest Montana, is right outside of Glacier National Park. And
Okay.
so our yeah, it's beautiful here.
Oh yeah,
So
it's beautiful. Yeah.
our little area is considered what's called a micropolitan. So the main center of it, Kalispell, is under 50,000 people. So in the last year, 2 years, we have been the fastest growing micropolitan in the United States. So we've had a
Wow.
more than a 30% growth in our area. So things are booming here, like
Beautiful.
out of control booming here. So
That's
you look
great
at,
for you guys for shell
yeah,
construction. Let's go. Woo!
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's an opportunity to be had. So don't be afraid to look outside of where you live. I'm looking at Georgia. There's a place in Georgia that's number 2 on the list.
Hmm.
Maybe we go to Georgia, Texas. Maybe we go to Texas. I actually have stuff lined up in Texas that I'm going to get going on here
Nice.
soon too.
I
But
love
don't,
Texas. A lot of my clients, hi guys, if you're watching, are from Texas, Dallas, Houston, and it's great there. Every time I go there, everybody is happy. I remember during COVID, Texas
mhm,
didn't stop. Like the entire country was sleeping and watching Netflix, and they were working. It was
yeah,
great. Yeah, it was
that's
awesome. I remember that, and
yeah.
and that's beautiful, my friend. And it's been great. Like, please say thank you to Michelle again. She's amazing. This interview, I never expected this to go so amazing. It's one of the, yeah. Not to say anything about it, like all the other interviews have been amazing, but this is so business, like high level business conversation. Like it's not, just motivational or which is super motivational. Like look at Michelle. She is motivational by herself.
I
Okay,
appreciate that.
of course, no, of course, and we all have a story, and it's funny. I think it was Michelle. She was telling me like, like what, you sure you want to have me in your show? And I'm like, Michelle, and then she sent me her bio, and I'm like, I mean, oh my god, what? You know, like, why did she even say that? Like, it's crazy. And look
Well,
at her,
I
it's
don't know.
amazing. The value you brought to this live, it's amazing. It's insane. Thank you for coming here. So now, what are your? Remember, we're helping my friends here, my audience that are small businesses learning. So, and the order they want to start. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face in business every day?
Um, I'm lucky I do not face people problems very often, but they can happen and you do need to be prepared for that. Um, my biggest challenge has been supply chain. So, getting the materials I need to finish a job in the time that I said I would get it done. So, looking at ways to be resourceful, looking at just because everybody goes to ABC Company to buy something doesn't mean I can't look at who sold to ABC Company and get in before it gets
Hmm.
to that company. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It
Right.
depends, but don't be afraid to go after that. So definitely having realistic expectations with your clients, letting them know up front, hey, I am thrilled to build this house for you, but here's the challenges we're facing. And they all know, it's not a secret around here or any place in the country, right?
Yeah.
But just to build it in up front, right? Say, here's what our goal is, here's what we're trying to deliver for you, here's the challenges that could arise. Be transparent, be upfront. Do not try to hide anything from your
Mhm.
clients.
Yeah.
I don't, they may not like what you have to say, but they will respect you
Yeah.
and they will honor you for being transparent with them.
Hmm.
Like, so honesty is a big one.
It's key. Yeah.
Um, I think those, for me right now, those are the biggest challenges, or or just supply chain, and then once in a while the people stuff. I like I said, I don't run into a whole lot of people problems, but they're
Hmm.
there, once in a while, and
Yeah.
treat people as adults. Like find out what their motivations are and why they're having the problems that they're having.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, sometimes it's something that can be fixed, and sometimes it's something that's underlying that you don't realize they have going on, and maybe I can help them fix the situation at home,
Which
and
is a
they're
great opportunity to build a
right.
relationship, right? I mean, it's all an opportunity. And by the way, guys, you know why she says it sounds easy? Like, if it sounds easy. If you're listening to Michelle, you're like, shit, I'm gonna do a business. Like, it sounds so easy. But guys, Michelle has an amazing business education, pre-education, and she loves studying. Like, she's got like, well, how many degrees you got, Michelle? 3 degrees or two?
Well, I just study a lot, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna. That's just not.
Yeah. But it's not just working hard. Working hard is a myth. It really
Yeah.
is. It's working smarter. Like, and I just keep studying, and I'll show you. I mean, I don't know if I've ever shown that in social media, but I'll show you. Which maybe it will be, like in comparison to Michelle's library. My library may be like tiny, but I'm proud of my little library because
Mhm.
I've read all those books, most of them, and I just every time I go buy books in Amazon, I buy like $300 like at once, which is like freaking 20 books or more. And it's
Wow.
because I want to have them there because if I need some information, because business varies, like it, and sometimes some issues that you had before, when you read the book, are different now, or you didn't have those challenges when you read the book, and that has happened to me many many times. So that's
Right.
why I love to have the books and not just listen to the audible book or whatever, because you can always go back and refer to it and have it on ink and know what to do, instead of just having to look for the audio and where it was that. But
Mhm.
the reason why it sounds so easy from her mouth is because she knows what she's doing. Okay, she knows what she's doing. So she's like, "What are your challenges?" And she's like, "Well, sometimes we go to a Starbucks and it's closed, and we're like, fuck, that sucks." And then our day sucks for the rest of the day. No, I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean. Like her challenges are not that crazy because she's got people that help her, and she's got systems, which is what business really is. And then,
Mhm.
so what do you think, my friend, that you would do differently if you were to start over? I
I
love
would start
perspective.
sooner.
Start sooner. Oh,
Yeah,
I love
don't
that.
wait. Don't wait.
Don't
Like,
wait.
and um, what would I do differently? I don't know. I think I was very blessed with just the life that I was given. That at the time I didn't recognize it, but I was being taught all these little pieces
Yeah.
along the way, and
Yeah.
it was that by design. That I was just blessed to live this path that I would be prepared.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think really for me, my only thing is, you know, uh, start sooner. Just start
Start
sooner.
sooner.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. In my case, it was my biggest thing. Like it's been, I didn't know what I was doing. You
Hmm.
know, thankfully, I knew sales and I knew marketing and I knew websites, and that helped me a lot. The second
Yeah.
month we were already doing like $15,000, which was 4 or 5 times my salary. No, like yeah, 3 or 4 times around there. So the
Yeah.
switch was like a no-brainer. And I remember, Michelle, it was funny because I was working at my job and I would tell them, you know what, I make 2 times what I make here in my by my own making websites in my own business, because I took a little bit to do the all in jump, right? Like I jumped the
Right.
bridge. Yeah, when I jumped the bridge, I was already. I mean, it was kind of easy because I was already doing 2 3 times the money. So when I went all in. I already had my website built, a little bit of marketing, not too much because but I had
Yeah.
some money saved too, and I had two businesses. I turned the other little eBay business I got that was doing like 6K. Um,
Hmm.
turn it, I turned it off. I took all that money and I put it in this company, Silvera Enterprises, and yeah. But in my case, I think I if I could have done something about my knowledge, I would have learned more, a lot more. Decided to just read more books, do more courses before doing the business completely, because
Hmm.
I got stuck for like the first year and a half, and I couldn't. I tried my best to have a team, but I had the wrong people, and I spent money in training in many many things that I knew were important, of course, and I'm glad that I did too. But I had the wrong people, which is something Michelle
That's
is an expert
important.
in. She's an
Yeah.
expert in. So, and I'll have
Well,
Michelle. I'll have Michelle in one of my next events where she can teach you guys some about. I mean, she knows a lot of stuff, but maybe HR, how to find good people, how to hire them, how to convince them to work in your company if they have talent. Because if you're a small company, you have to be smart about how to
right.
get people enthusiastic about working in a small company, because they if they got talent, they can get any job they want. So
Right.
you know that's why selling is so important.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes. And
Hmm.
so then, my friend, we're almost done here. Thank you, Michelle, for your time. There's two more questions. I know you're
Okay.
busy. I'm sorry if this has been dragging for too long. What time is it? I don't even know. It's
It's
been
all
like
right. Doesn't
30
matter.
minutes. Okay, you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Great, right? Okay, I told you. I told you. I told you.
Uh,
So,
okay.
this next question, I love it because it's so important. And
The last Jose.
best three books.
Oh, that is so hard. I think that's the hardest question you've asked me.
No, of course
The
not. I
best
mean,
three books?
maybe the
For
best
me,
three
that is
books.
hard because I read them and then I just absorb and go on. Um, they're gonna laugh at this because this is
Tell me.
not a business book, but
Okay.
it was for me was very inspirational at the right time. So
Mhm.
Matthew McConaughey,
Okay.
his book Green Lights.
Okay. Green lights.
Um,
Wow.
that is one of my very favorite books that I listen to.
Wow.
Um, just because he was so raw and so passionate and so transparent about his life and his story and everything that came to him and how he went about it. So while it didn't give you business techniques, it gave you the personality of somebody who was successful
Right.
and and following that. So that was probably one of my very favorite books that I've read recently.
Nice.
Um, let me see. I liked all the Grant Cardone books.
Uh-huh.
So probably the 10X rule needs to be on that list for anybody who hasn't read that. I would absolutely
Recommend
recommend
that.
that. Yeah, and then probably Robert Kawasaki, Sharon Lecter's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I would
Hmm.
put that on there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that book, that book was the one that started my business journey, and I was in
Mhm.
a terrible moment in my life. And one day, I hope Robert Kiyosaki watches this video, or I meet him or whatever, and I'll let him know in person. But that book was the one, Michelle, that changed my life forever. I was in a terrible moment. I, I mean, everything was tough for me. I lost two jobs, and I ended up one because I had like three jobs. My mom was sick. She's still a little sick, but she's a lot better now, thanks God. And my wife was working Jack in the Box, making like 7, 8 bucks an hour, and after taxes, that's like $1 or
Right?
something like that. It's
Sure.
terrible. So it was terrible, right? And I was so depressed, Michelle. It was terrible. And then this is the book that when I said fuck this shit, and excuse my language, fuck this shit. When I said fuck this shit, that was the book that allowed me to say, you know what, I know I can do this, and I work even harder. And from there on, I started, these two businesses I was talking about, and I only had two $200 credit cards, and I put $200 to start one and $200 to start the other one, and that's how I started. I
Right?
didn't even, I needed that money to buy food, Michelle. But then after I decided to do that, because it's just a mindset thing, I saw websites, and I got another job that allowed me to learn more about marketing. Like I was managing a multi-million dollar marketing campaign on that company. Like, so that allowed me, right? It's like you're like
Right.
you worked into it, all these companies, and you learn
Mhm.
something, the pieces. I learned pieces in each opportunity I had, and
Right.
yeah, and I've had in this country, Michelle. We only have like 6 years and a half in the United States, and you know what? I've had like 14 jobs in this country, Michelle. It's crazy, and I've had to do a lot of crazy stuff. But I'm glad, I'm glad we're here, and I'm glad that I've pushed so hard, and I'm still
Mhm.
pushing hard. And people ask me, but I don't feel like it's work. It's like you're saying, of course,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not easy, but I know I just gotta study, know what
Mhm.
I have to do, and just take risk. But it's not risk like Robert Kiyosaki says if you know what you're doing. It's
Right.
not that risky. And this is the last question, and it's I hope it's not hard for you like the other one. I think the other one was easy. I think you're or you say that like you're exaggerating. So what my friend, for our friends here that are watching this video, and thank you so much for being here. God bless you, Michelle. You're the best, and God bless everyone that is still watching this. We got two people live on. I think this is just YouTube, and there's a bunch on Instagram. I see it here, but it's not. It doesn't show the comments here. This is a new system we're using. It's great. We can broadcast everywhere, but doesn't show Instagram. It's there, but doesn't show the comments. Um, what are three tips that you would give our small business, new business owners, audience that you think are so important? Three tips.
Number one, make sure you have a good foundation going in. Make sure you've thought through what you're going to build your business on, your principles, like your layout, everything. So, number one, a good foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, don't be afraid to ask for help. There is
Mm-hmm.
always somebody who's been there, done that, somebody maybe even in a different industry that you respect, or somebody you don't know but you still respect. Do not be afraid to reach out, ask for advice, ask for help. People want other people to succeed. And when you get in the groups like this, you're going to find more and more of that. So if you have questions, somebody wants to answer it. And number three, get out and meet people, the exposure. So, completely unrelated to what I'm doing, but I was asked to be the event director for the Legriz Ultra Marathon that supports the Glacier Institute that works with Glacier National Park. And you're like,
Hmm.
that's completely unrelated to what you're doing. And I'm like, but no, I get to go up and I'm going to meet people from all over the country coming in to run 50 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I get to work with this great institute and the people that they bring in, I might get to meet, So look for those opportunities to be out and about and to meet people, but definitely be seen. Um,
Yeah.
if people don't know who you are, they can't support you. They don't know your mission. They don't know what you're after. So,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
good foundation, ask questions, get help when you need it, and be seen. Get out there and get involved. So, those are my
Yeah.
3 tips.
It's not best. It's best known, right, Michelle?
That's right.
Yeah. That's what Grant says, by the way. I'm stealing everyone's quotes. Robert Kiyosaki. I'm wild here, and I'm gonna start stealing Michelle's quotes as well. Send me some
Oh,
quotes,
great.
Michelle, and I'll start saying them in my stuff, and I'll say they're mine. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
I don't
it's I love this call. I can't believe all the value. I'm taking notes, guys. I'm taking notes here. I'm learning so much from Michelle. And Michelle, I'm gonna start asking you for business advice. Okay?
feel
I
free.
hope you help me. I
I
hope
hope
you
you
help me.
do.
I'll compare what Michelle is gonna tell me, and the coaches and the books and everything. And that's the way like if you're starting, I people, and I recommend the same. You should learn from one guy, and that's what Grant Cardone says. But once you know more and stuff, and if you learn quickly, you can get out of that right. But what I did is I learned from Grant Cardone, and I read all his books twice, and I started applying all of the stuff in my business. And then once I did that, I did take longer, unfortunately, to go and learn from other little things that Grant didn't offer. Probably at the time, maybe he does now. So check with Grant and the team or whatever. If you're a 10x person, of course, not saying go and don't do business with Grant Cardone, but if for some reason you're very legitimately interested in doing something, or you think that's important for your business, go. And there's so many books, so many things about that. Don't be lazy. Stand up, read books, listen to them, at least if you don't want to read, if you don't like reading, I understand. But do something and get the knowledge, because I've bought $27 books that has made us, tens of thousands of dollars, and had fed up some of my time, and all of these things. And I mean, it's crazy. It's just insane. It's just about knowledge. What do you think, Michelle?
Never stop learning. I think I stole that from someplace too, probably PBS.
Yeah. What books are you reading right now, Michelle? And we're gonna end.
um, I have one called Advantage. It's by Mcconaughey, and it is about your executive leadership team and what does it mean to be part of an executive leadership team, and
Mm,
what things you should focus on. So I'm reading
beautiful.
that to see what I can filter down to people as I bring them up, and so that's
Beautiful.
what's I'm reading now. There's another one I've started and made it a little ways into. I want to revisit called Strategic Doing.
Okay.
I can't offhand remember who wrote that one, but I know it's on my table and I've started it.
Nice. And that's for achieving your goals, setting them and achieving them, or
Yeah, it's kind of a personal process book,
I see.
So when you set out to do something, make sure you have a strategy as far as how you're going to do it, have a purpose and an intent. So if I'm going to go have coffee, some days maybe I'm just going to have coffee, but other days, do I have a bigger purpose? Like,
Hmm.
am I planning? Do I want to run into somebody? Do I want to meet somebody? Do I want to shake somebody's hand? Do I want to represent my company in a way that maybe I just have a logo on so somebody sees me, but you know, how am I going to represent myself in public? Have
Yeah,
a strategy, have a purpose for what you're doing. So,
of course, of course.
yeah.
And I think you're gonna love this book. I think you're already applying these things, but you should read. It's called The $1 Trillion Coach. It's great. It's the guy that he coached Steve Jobs and some people in
Oh,
Intuit.
okay.
Some people in
Yeah.
Intuit he coached. Wasn't he? I think he was the CEO at some point of Intuit. By the way, I think so. Uh, his name
Hmm.
was oh my God, something Campbell. Campbell. I
Hmm.
forgot his name. I forgot the guy's name. Jeff Campbell, something like that. But it's like he's a little bit. It's like a small biography about the guy, and
Okay.
they go over how cool he was and why he helped these businesses so much during terrible periods, right? Like not just like like not just like the booming
Hmm.
period, but like the bad times, when Steve Jobs didn't know what to do and he was there for him, stuff like that. Like it's amazing. It's called $1 Trillion Coach. You should read it. I
Okay.
think you're gonna. Yeah, I mean, there's there's some advanced stuff, but it's more of the basics of what the guy did and how cool he was with everyone and authentic, and it's amazing. But
Hmm.
yeah, nothing like super advanced. Like if you want to read something advanced, don't read that one. But it's really cool. It's really really good. Anyways, but uh, um, so thank you, Michelle. Please tell us how can we find you online or the company and or do business with you. I know you do big construction projects, but anyone here that can be looking for a commercial construction company can
Yeah.
locate
Well,
you and
yeah. If you want a house, call me. So,
or multifamily. If you want to start a multifamily project, multi-million, 5 million, sorry, not 5 million. Like how many millions we're
yeah.
talking about, Michelle?
Oh my gosh, a multifamily is going to be way more than 5 million right now.
Yeah, okay,
I can build
five
you.
million.
I can build
You
you a
got
five
five
million dollar.
million? Call Michelle with 5 million, okay? If not, don't give her a call. 5 million. No, but if you want a house, yeah, like I don't know.
Right.
She knows, but go ahead.
Houses right now, I could probably do a house for about 700,000, and that's probably about a 2,000 square foot home right now up here in the valley.
Well, nice.
Things are a little bit pricey at the moment, but you can find me at shellconstruction.com.
Hmm.
Uh, we're having some maintenance done on the website, so if you it doesn't pop up right away, check back or give me a call. I like phone calls. I like people who want to reach out to me personally and call me. So um, 406 or send me an email at mschaeffer, Shaffer, at shellconstruction.com. So email is a really great way to reach out if you have questions and those things, or it's Michelle Brown on Facebook, which is probably in the link.
Perfect. And by the way, Michelle, I did fix the last name. That was my mistake, guys. I put Michelle's last name wrong. My bad. But I did fix it. It's showing like that. I don't know why it didn't update, but it is showing correctly. I think on YouTube. So thank you, Michelle. God bless you, my friend. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet the call.
Okay.
But everyone, thank you for being here. A lot of people just stayed during the whole thing. Oh my God, that's so cool. Thank you
Oh,
guys
I
for
appreciate
your
it. That was a
support.
long call.
Yes, yes, love you. Say hi and thank you, and bye to Michelle. And if you have any questions about anything, just hit Michelle up. And
Yes,
you
please
know,
do.
yes, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, guys. God bless you all. Woo! See you next time.